Shalom, shalom. So you think my heart's made of stone, and when you're near me, there's no reaction. Well, you're wrong. From the head of my heart, my love for you steadily grows on and on. And each day you're not here, I cry me a river of tears. Not on the outside, but inside strong. I love you, I love you, I love you. Without you, I have no song. Not on the outside, but inside strong. I need you, I need you, I need you to keep this cold heart warm. Good evening. Good evening. I want to bring this message to you. It's a little love song by The Moments, later called Ray Goodman and Brown because of some old jive madness in the recording industry that has always taken the joy in the music of Judah and made us enemies against ourselves. How many of you all know that every institution that was created for us to be provided in or given an opportunity in or give up our energy and our talent in, how many of you know that those industries were created for our demise? Come on, get ready now. How many of you know that those industries were created for our demise? Look, it doesn't matter what kind of so-called opportunity we're given in those industries. They were created for our demise. Nothing more. Nothing more. You see, one day you're going to realize that everything that man is enjoying is fueled off of you. I think it's very strange for people to say that we're not productive. People to say that we don't have a part in what is happening, and if they dole something out to us, they treat us like they're giving us something. But you are the most sane people in the world, so-called black people, because you know that you're old. You know, this wicked man has selective memory. This wicked man is deluded. It's going to shock you who they bring out as president again. I'm not going to say anything. Okay? It's going to shock you. But you're more sane than anybody on the planet. You know why? Because you have a problem that is not your fault, and you know it. But everybody in the earth looks at you like the problems that you have were your fault. And here's what's really crazy. Some of your own kin, from the highest bright yellow to the darkest dark, look at you like the ones who colonize and oppress you and are still oppressing you to this day. Look at you. They look at you that same way. Your people, you know, because the oppression, the colonization brings with it a cancer and a sickness. Now, we can go back to how we ended up in this position, but that's a little too much knowledge for a lot of our people right now. See, a lot of our people look at what we're dealing with as if the Creator has no knowledge of it and he knows nothing about it. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit today. I saw the most evil, most hateful, most ridiculous video made by two so-called black men. They don't call themselves black. I don't know what they call themselves. I've never really looked at what ethnicity they claim. And beware of people that try to act like ethnicity is insignificant. Beware of people that refuse to notice not only the difference in ethnicities, but the different treatment and the different circumstances that always find your people. Beware of people that take that as something, or they communicate about that as something, as if something is wrong with you, using the term black and African American and black people, and beware of people that categorize you as somehow being inferior and stupid and unnecessarily whiny, because you recognize in your sane mind that you have a problem that is really not your fault. And as a matter of fact, you have a problem that without supernatural intervention, you're not gonna get out of it. Do you hear what I'm saying? See, I saw this show, this YouTube vlog. I don't even want to call the name because, you know, if they see this, they'll get it. And I left a comment on there. But beware of Christianity. I'm telling you, any so-called black person that is not seeing the fallout of Christianity and what Christianity does to so-called black people and how it makes you think. Christianity makes you think in agreement with your oppressor, your colonizer, and it removes you from how you were created. And it makes how you were created and what nationality you are insignificant. And it is the furthest thing away from the Creator's plan and desire when he made you who he made you. Oh, black man, original man of the earth. Let that sink in. See, Christianity makes you dismissive of truth. At 67 in my cycles, I'm telling you, I've been a Christian since I was a little boy. And there was something I never could mix with Christianity. I never could mix the truth that through our Messiah, our Savior, most of you call him Christ. No, I'm not talking about another person other than the one that you call Jesus. I just don't name him that way. And I know people have a lot of problem with that. You do whatever you need to with that. But I can tell you this much. You calling him Jesus and I'm calling him Yahuah's. Step lightly about who you're saying I'm talking about. Here's what I mean, though. Black Christians have got to be the most stiff-necked, disillusioned, delusional, perpetually in denial. The proof that we have not given ourselves to understanding what is in that book, apart from the Euro influence that rules over our minds. Don't say it. Don't say it is not true. If you are a so-called black person and you are in the uninformed, unfounded doctrine of Eurocentric Christianity, you are uninformed. You are stiff-necked and you are in denial. And I'm going to tell you a simple telltale sign. And you're going to hate this, and some of you are going to laugh at it. And this doesn't apply to everyone that is naming the name Christian, because everyone doesn't think the same, even though they wear that label. But this is the category of Christian that I'm talking about. You look at black people like your colonizers do. Now, I don't call myself black, but I'm using that term because that's what you consider me based on the popular opinion or voice or terminology that we've adapted. Some of you, I've been here at least 10, maybe 20 years longer than you. So anything you're saying is totally irrelevant to me about our people. You have not lived long enough. And living long enough has nothing to do with your age. It has to do with what you've allowed yourself to be perpetually influenced by. You can be perpetually influenced by the mindset of your colonizers. If you are talking negative about so-called black people. We'll get to who they are in a second, because I don't want this to be too long. You're going to have to understand that there is innate in all of us who have tried to make it or be somebody in this Babylonian satanic atmosphere that, whether you want to admit it or not, is eroding in front of you, has taken your money, your wealth, has taken your ancestors' money and wealth, and are now saying, now we get ready to crash this mother, and you ain't got yours yet. And some of you don't feel like you deserve nothing. And you're under that mindset that all things are equal now. Nobody's a slave. Oh my goodness. You are the worst. You are the worst. And the Bible talks about you. You see, all of your conclusions that you come up with to bash so-called black people, you can't find any of them founded in the scripture. Not one. And you're quick to say what is out of context about who so-called black people are in relation to what is written surrounding the covenant that he made with the nation, and then the one who came to reestablish that covenant among the nation. All the other nations can come in later, but some of you think backwards. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. You are the most evil, wicked person. As a matter of fact, you are anti-Hamashiach. You are anti-God. That's what you call him. You are anti-everything holy when you dislike and mock black people. Let it sink in. Some of you, you're males. Your name could be Kundens, no winds. Get it? Some of you, you're a male version of the females that the system uses. Some of you, the system, you ain't even in an agreement with the system, at least on paper, at least bureaucratically, at least socially. I don't know, maybe some of you have made agreements with the system, but spiritually you are. And you know what? You are going to have to understand something. The Most High's chosen people have always been mocked. Yeah, you thought it was because they loved Jesus. That wasn't it. It's because they're Jesus's kin. They're his blood kin. Every account in the books of him training up 12 men who were disciples prove who those men are. From Moses to Paul. There's no doubt to those who are informed, to those who are enlightened, who these men are and what follows them. You see, you're going to have to do the research, and never mind what you would say about people going into savage lands and getting killed. They should have been over there. A European man going into a savage land is going over there like a fool. The Most High has never used a people from another nation to instruct his children. He has used them to provoke his children, but not to instruct them. And proof is when this thing finally closes. Those who will be sealed will be 144,000 Yahuah'S. You know them as Jews. It's not a word in our language. It's not a word. Oh, Rose, you speak in English. Tis, tis, tis. Well, look what they've done to us. I can show you in the Bible where it said we would be exiled into the English language. Back to you, though. You are using everything that you have received from your colonizers to dig a grave with your tongue. Welcome to the end days. Talking about black people is out of style, and it makes the Most High angry. But you are like your ancestors, black brother. You're just like them. Proud, arrogant, stiff-necked, and chasing the other nations. There is nothing biblical about looking at the plight of the so-called black man and trying to give him a remedy of your theory other than what is clearly in the scriptures and what he is being provoked to do. Return to the covenant through his Mashiach, because contrary to all of your flabbergasted, blubbering speech, pontificating about Jesus, he did not come to establish Christianity. He came to save his people from their sins and to reestablish them as the hierarchy in the earth, to be benevolent to the nations and teach the nations. And you watch when they are in the position that they were created for, because they suck in this condition and in this situation that they're in now, in this position that they're in now. We suck. I'll agree with you there. We suck. But that's not because we're suckers or we're worse than the other people on the planet. That's because we are the ones who were chosen by him, not by anything special of ourselves, just because he chose us and he loves us, the opposite of you. The book says, touch not mine anointed. Who is his anointed? Yashael, commonly known as Israel to some of you. And then there's a lot of you who you think you know Israel. But what you're understanding is those people don't call themselves Israel. They're just letting you think they do. Those people know that Israel is a family name. It could never be a land. And those people know that they are not Jacob's children. But just like you, they repeat things that are not true. Now, there's some of them who think that what they're saying is true. And that's why the prophecy says that they will come to themselves and say, our fathers have inherited lies and have fed them down to generations. And that's why you think so-called black men are just black men who can't get their act together. Because you have been told, just like all of the other blind, black, and everything in between, blue and brown and pale, everybody has been told the lie. And the falling away has nothing to do with Christianity. If you want to know the truth, Christianity is an incident to the falling away. Christianity came after the great falling away. Do your research, do your history, but it's hard to know what you're talking about if you're talking about the Most High's chosen people. And some of you play too much. And some of you with the mindset that you have about our people, calling us a race, that shows your ignorance. We're not a race. A race is a competitive event. We're not a race. Oh, it's just a word. It's just a term we use. Well, that's a problem. Words carry spirits. Spirits carry words. And you get tangled up in them. See, a lot of you want to be in context and direct and according to the script, what is written, when it suits your advantage, because you are a social media addict. You are in an indirect way saying, lo, Christ is here. Follow me. And you don't know how wicked and how despised your position and your speech makes you. Because you are speaking against the Most High's chosen people. And you know what's so cold about it? It's just like black people. It's just like black people. Because you're under the category of how you're talking about the people that you're related to. Some of you, I know you might be mixed up. You might have found out you got some of the other man's blood in your family and all that. And so a lot of you don't know it, but you have a latent anger in you. A deep-seated anger in you that you are associated with us. And see, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, because kin goes deeper than flesh. It has to do with the heart. And kin is spoken of in the scripture. Yes, it is. And kin is very near and dear to the Most High. And you're going to have to settle with something once and for all. The people whose bidding you're doing with your mouth are not the Most High's chosen. Take this tip. Christianity makes you a dumb buffoon, because it makes you think that people who do not fit the bill at all, have never fitted the bill at all, can come forth with a document just like they created documents to have you fighting harder than them to be successful in a land that your ancestors built, that then maybe yours didn't. Maybe you may be one of those that says you indigenous to this and all that other stuff. If you are one of those, then you should put down the Bible, because the Bible does not support where you're coming from. The Bible doesn't support us being black. It doesn't even call us black. But it sure doesn't support anybody talking about us under the tag and the term of black people, as if we are somehow. See, that's the thing about it. You think just like your colonizers, and you would say this is racism, but I would say no, your colonizers have made you a racist. The book of Isaiah says that your fast, your Sabbaths, your feast days are not even worthy if you hate your own flesh. That's your brother. That's your kin. No, get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. There was no rainbow coalition in the hierarchy of the kingdom and in the covenant. And if there were other nations, guess what? They were all so-called black people. Because that's another problem you got. You think that Africans are our brothers like we are brothers, and they're not. At best, there are some mingling and mixing that was done because Moses, we're one of him, and he married an Ethiopian that he later put away. Some of you need to come to the continent. No, not for a vacation. So you can have a lot of things removed from you and your ignorance about who people are. Some of you need to come to the continent and see how some of the people that are teaching you, that gave you your doctrine, are over here in Africa, disrespecting and hating these people, tricking these people and fooling these people, just like they fooled you. and gave them an image that you worship today. Even though you say, no, I don't worship no image, and no, Jesus was Jewish. I say to you, no, he wasn't. He wasn't ish nothing. He wasn't a nameless spirit walking around. And he wasn't a person who did not love and who despised his own flesh. And he did not come for the oppressors of his people. That's not the world that he died to save. Your God is who you let influence you to despise the people who the Most High has chosen. Don't get it twisted, brother. You don't get beyond how you treat the Most High's chosen people, whether you're one of them or not. See, if you're one of them, it is really detrimental how you're treating them. The rest of the nations, he leaves them where they're at. What you're following, you need to revamp. You really have no argument. Because if you have a jaundiced eye toward the so-called black man, you are looking at that book with scales on your eyes that have itchy, rashy, crusty sores on them. And it's why you see things the way you see them. Think about it. Now, you so-called black people, you are the Most High's chosen people. I know I'm on the continent away from you. But you should know that anything that hurts us, anything that makes us long, and anything that makes us miss one another is not going to last. You must know that the book ends with our being together forever. And it's not floating away to heaven. It's here on earth. Yeah. See, discovering who you are puts everything in a new light. Discovering who you are makes it so that you will not be victimized by what these idiots are doing. Now, take heart, they were appointed to do that. Just as Pharaoh was appointed to do what he was appointed to do, Nebuchadnezzar was appointed to do what he was appointed to do. And Hasatan, commonly called Satan, is appointed to do what he is appointing men to do. Just as sure as that is so, the promise of the kingdom in your hands, ruled by your ancestors, read the book of Revelation, is coming to pass. You will be the head and not the tail, just like he promised in the covenant that our ancestors came to a place where they despised. These people trying to talk about us, now let me point to the left, because they called us leftists, but they are so far to the left and the right and the bottom. These people who talk about us are of that spirit that despises us. Psalm 84 says, the nations are a conspiracy against the Most High and have sought to obliterate his hidden ones. And the Eurocentric doctrine has made you and the people who are persecuting you so dumb and so blind that they say stupid, damnable things, because whether they like it or not, you can't talk about who the Most High has chosen and think that he's going to hold you guiltless. He is going to deal with you the same way he deals with the people who are persecuting and killing us. Because according to Romans chapter 1, verse 32, He deals with them not only who do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Well, I don't take no pleasure in what people do. Yes, you do. You take pleasure. You can't be in the middle. Either you're with the Most High, which means you're with his people, or you're not. And you have to hate the unfruitful works of darkness. And you have too much petered out smoke that you try to bring to the people who are currently being afflicted. And you're really showing your crusty, anyway, you're really showing yourself, because there are people who are among the colonizers who are the children of the ancestors know good and well that this is not a fair living field. I'm not going to say playing field, because this ain't no game what's happening to us. Like I said earlier, you playing too much. And when you land where those who touch his anointed and who mock his love for his people, you are against him, thinking that you're for him. And there is no narrative, there is no school of thought, and there is no house of knowledge that you can prepare for the Most High's chosen people if you don't see them as the Most High's chosen people. Receive the word of Yahuwah tonight. Be blessed, be saved, be loved. Shalom.